Hey everyone, welcome to the WNP podcast. This is a show where a bunch of idiots discuss all things sports. From crazy predictions to juicy trade rumors, it's all for fun and for the love of the game. Thanks so much for stopping by, and as always, we're not professionals. Hello everyone, welcome to the WNP podcast. I'm your host, Mike Mitchelson, and join me today in person for the first time in about 7 months, Chase Grasha.
Yeah, that's fair. It's probably been about 7-8 months, but, doing swell. Glad to be here. Glad that your hair looks so nice. How about you?
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm doing well. And we are not being joined by any of the fellas today.
Thank
We've got
God,
another football
honestly.
episode. But yeah, Alec, apparently he came down with the coronavirus.
Rip in pieces.
That's what he told us. So,
Yep.
We're not trying to make a joke out of it. He just told us that. So we'll see what happens with that situation. Graham Weaver, he decided to leave us, even though it's a spring break, but, that's whatever. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Who needs them?
Yeah, exactly. So, Chase, we've talked recently a lot about the NFL offseason. We're going to continue to do so today. Oh, I don't want you to see my list, actually. You little cheater.
I can't even see your phone. The mic's blocking it.
So, we talked about the free agent quarterbacks a couple times in the last couple of episodes, but what we want to do today is we want to go over our top 4 free agent quarterbacks on the market and our top 4 quarterbacks that are entering the draft, talk about why we like those guys, and then we will do a segment where we will put them up against current starting NFL quarterbacks and decide who we would rather have. So it's going to be an all quarterback episode, a lot of offseason talk, as we're going to be talking 8 quarterbacks that are available for teams to choose from either the draft or free agency. So it's going to be a fun episode. Chase, what do you want to start off with, free agents or the draft?
Let's start off with free agents.
Okay.
Since that's the one that's coming up here first.
That sounds good. And we'll go 4-1. So
4-1?
Yeah,
Okay,
last to
I'm good with
first.
that.
And the only thing I said about this is not necessarily who you think is going to be the best, not your favorite, but if you were a GM right now and you had to take a quarterback for the next 10 years, who would you pick? That's how we ranked our quarterbacks. So you guys can do something similar. Go along with us. So Chase, your 4th quarterback coming out of free agency is who?
That is going to be Mr. Ryan Tannehill. So Ryan Tannehill kind of, I want to say came on the scene because he's a name that, he's been a starter in the NFL for quite some time. But, he kind of got his redemption shot with the Titans this year after Mariota started struggling and just, came in hot, had a, hell of a season. He's someone who, he's still relatively young. He'll be 32, if I'm not mistaken, by the year's start. So he's not, old, but he's not, young either. But he's still got years left in him, especially at the quarterback position. Just shy of 3,000 yards this year, 22 touchdowns, 6 picks. He had a pretty good year based on, the number of snaps and games he started, helped take the Titans to the playoffs, help upset a couple teams. He's someone who showed that he deserves a chance to be a true starter again, and that he was just in a terrible situation in Miami.
Yeah, I like Tannehill, and he will be coming up in my list eventually, but my number 4 spot is Teddy Bridgewater. I think Teddy Bridgewater needs another chance. He's right now 28 years old. He had that gruesome knee injury about 3 or 4 years ago, I think it was, when Drew Brees went down with an injury in this past season. Teddy Bridgewater helped the Saints continue to be one of the better teams in the league. I think Teddy Bridgewater has a future as a starter in the NFL. I don't think it is as bright as what it was before his injury, obviously. I'm just a little finicky on whether he can do it for a full 16 games again. So a little bit worried there. That's why I have him at my number 4, but I still have him up there because he's still a young player, and he has looked good in his backup spots with the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, definitely. Teddy's a name that I talk about a lot, and I think he deserves another chance. Name that I will also talk about coming up in my list. So we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah, for sure. And Chase, I'm just telling you right now, if you got Taysom Hill and you're free agents, I'm probably gonna kick you.
Dude, he's number 1. What are you talking about?
All right, who's your number 3?
Number 3, I have Mr. Dak Prescott. Likely to resign with the Cowboys. I'd be surprised if he goes elsewhere. But as of right now, he's not signed, and there's been no implication showing that he's going to be like officially for sure signing, kind of like the Drew Brees situation, you know. So we're gonna go with the implication that he's a free agent, coming off of really like a hell of a year, 4,900 passing yards, 30 touchdowns, 11 picks, 277 yards on the ground with 3 touchdowns there too. So he's an effective quarterback. He's not someone I think is like ultra talented. I don't think he's an elite quarterback in the league, but I think he's good enough to be a starter. He's good enough to get the ball to elite receivers and elite running backs, and he's good enough to help a team win for a team that has all the other tools. If he's going to a franchise that's lacking, you know, top receivers or top running backs, he might struggle. But if he goes to a team with a good support system, I think he could have a lot of success, kind of like he has already.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And like Chase mentioned, it's most likely he's going to be returning to the Cowboys, but nothing has been official yet. He's not an RFA, he's a UFA, so we decided we put him in the free agency list. So it's nice to see Dak on there for you, especially because I know you're usually not the biggest Dak fan.
No, I'm not, but I mean, like numbers don't lie, and when you put up the passing numbers that you do, like it shows that you have talent. Obviously, you know, it shows that the team kind of struggled too, and he's not like, as I said, he's not ultra talented, but he definitely is good enough to be a starter in the NFL. I still would put him probably in the second half of quarterbacks in the league personally, but still, that's if you're above Andy Dalton on the Andy Dalton scale, you're good enough to be a starter.
Got you. So second half a quarter, or second half or second tier?
Second like half. So like top, so not top 16, but like
so you
pretty
put
close.
17.
Yeah, I put him like somewhere around there. Like
around there.
if I compiled a full list, he might be a little higher, but just in general, if I had to just kind of guesstimate, that's where I'd put him.
Okay, cool. And then he'll be matching up against 15 other names I have written down later on in the episode, so we'll really get to see what Chase thinks about Dak then. My number 3 is Ryan Tannehill. He was your number 4. Like you said, he's a little bit older, but he's nowhere near the end of his career at only 31, 32 years old. He had a nice resurgence. I think if he gets in the right offense, he can be successful. We saw that a little bit with the Titans. I feel like he can do better than what he do in the playoffs, like 88 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 picks.
Yeah.
So I feel like he can do better than that, and I think teams should take a chance. I'm just a little bit worried it might be a Nick Foles case here. You know, he was okay at Miami. He was a little bit better at the Dolphins, and, you know, Nick Foles, Eagles, great. Anywhere else, trash.
This makes me so happy that you're saying this, because I talked about all last summer, like, dude, Nick Foles is not a good enough quarterback to start. It's not a good signing. You and Alec are like, no, dude, like he can legit start. Yeah, yes, don't give me that look. Yes, I remember talking about this, and I was the only one in our friend group that was like, dude, he's not good enough to be a starter, and he lost the job to a rookie late-round pick in Gardner Minshew, who was electric, don't get me wrong, but he wasn't like a superstar, and Mr. BD Nick was fine enough to get a little hot, help his team win, but he's not a starting quarterback, and thank you for clarifying that.
I think we got to re-roll the tape here. I think what I remember is saying he can be a starting quarterback, but not a great starting quarterback, which, I mean,
I didn't think he could even be a starting quarterback, and he wasn't. He got hurt, and then when he came back,
he's playing on an awful team.
Dude, the Jags are good. They had the
Jags are good. He comes out and says the Jags are good.
They're good enough offensively. They had emerging DJ Chark. I know they were like the rest of the receiving core was kind of riddled with injuries all year, but Leonard Fournette was healthy and finally had his bounce back season that we've been waiting for. The tight end situation was issues too with injuries, but like he had enough to, if he was good, to do something. And I know he got hurt, and then Minshew came in and played so well, but even when he got another chance, he did nothing with it and lost the job again.
I would bet $100 they pick top 10 again next year.
I'm going to blame that more on their defense falling apart than their offense, because they've lost all these key defensive pieces that were going to be good enough to help their offense be average and then their defense to be superior and win games. Now that their defense is missing so many pieces and the offense, I think, still remains average, but average is good enough where a good quarterback can do something with it.
Yeah, but they don't have a good quarterback.
Exactly, because Nick Foles isn't a good quarterback.
Neither is Gardner Minshew.
Gardner Minshew's elite, man.
No, he's not. The bandana himself is not.
Still love him.
All right, Chase, let's now move on to your number 2 free agent quarterback. Let's hear it.
My number 2 free agent quarterback is none other than famous Jameis. Jameis Winston, everyone knows this guy's spiel. Over 5,000 yards. He had 33 passing touchdowns, 30 interceptions. For whatever reason, though, he waits until he's 5 years in the league to get LASIK eye surgery, when clearly you need it, like the whole time. Yeah. So why are you waiting? But he finally gets it. So now that he's got that, he's gonna get a chance somewhere. Like he's getting a chance to start and job somewhere because the passing yards are just too high to not get a chance, whether it's the Bucs or elsewhere. And I think that if he goes somewhere other than the Bucs, somewhere that just has a little bit better, maybe of an offense for him with a little more support, just all around, a little better run game too, because the run game of the Bucs was atrocious.
Yeah,
I think he could have a very fine top 10 quarterback starting season.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, we saw Jameis is my number 2 as well.
There we go.
We saw Jameis back in Florida State even squinting because he couldn't see down the field.
Yeah.
So it's nice he finally gets this LASIK surgery. I've been a Jameis sympathizer for, I don't know, the last 3 or 4 years. I've been picking him up in fantasy football drafts at the end of the 12th round every year because I'm like, this is the year he's finally going to do something. It never is. I'm going to do it again this year because I'm stupid. Yeah. But hopefully the LASIK will help it out. I think this guy's got a cannon. His decision-making's a little troublesome. Hopefully, with the vision getting fixed here with the LASIK, hopefully he can produce similar amount of yards and touchdowns, just get rid of those interceptions a little bit.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think he's got the ability. The interceptions will, you don't just throw 30 interceptions out of bad luck. Even with the improved eyesight and if he is better, he's still going to throw more interceptions than you would like. But I could expect those numbers to easily cut in half.
Yeah, and I hope so.
Yeah,
because that'd be cool. All right, Chase. Next up, our number 1 out of our top 4 free agency quarterbacks. Who do you have as your number 1?
My number 1 is Teddy Bridgewater. If I was a team looking for a quarterback in free agency, Teddy Bridgewater would be the number 1 player that I go for, especially because if you can sign him to probably a good price, you're gonna pay him more than you're gonna pay him enough that would make him a starting quarterback because he's got the talent, but you're not gonna pay him upper echelon starting quarterback money. So you can get him at a good price to take a chance on the starting quarterback. If he does great, which I think he can and think he will, then awesome. You got your quarterback in your hands. If he struggles, then all right, you have this awesome crop of quarterbacks in this upcoming draft class, and you can just choose from there. So I think this a team that's currently looking in transition. So for example, a team like the Chargers, I know they have Tyrod Taylor, and they talk about how they like their internal options, and they might go quarterback this year. But maybe they say, hey, Teddy's better than Tyrod, so let's bring in Teddy, make him the starter for a year. If it works out, great. If not, then we can just hop on a quarterback next year. Or a team like the Colts, I don't think the Colts will do it, but just a team that's looking for their future franchise quarterback. Teddy Bridgewater would be the perfect guy to test out because if he doesn't work out, boom, you just get someone new. If he does work out, you got a cheap quarterback.
Yeah, I feel you there. And the one thing that surprises me about the Saints is it recently came out, I think it was 2 days ago, the Saints, or it was rumored that the Saints are planning on using their franchise tag on Taysom Hill instead of Teddy Bridgewater.
Well, they're using a first round tender tag. So if a team signs him and they don't match it, then they get a first round pick.
Right. But why wouldn't they use that on Teddy?
Yeah, I don't know. Teddy's the guy that would get the first round pick.
Teddy's
value. I don't get their choice.
Yeah, I don't understand it either because Teddy is younger. He actually has a passing touchdown in his career, unlike Taysom Hill.
He's a legit thrower. He got hurt, and it's hard to come back from the type of injury that he dealt with. He's a legit passing threat, and he can run the ball fairly well. I know can't run the ball as well as he used to, but he can still run it decently.
Yeah, I don't understand the choice of going Taysom Hill over Teddy Bridgewater, but hey, maybe the Saints are seeing something that we aren't. My number 1 is Dak Prescott. Yeah. I think Dak Prescott is the smartest quarterback 30 years or under. Obviously, Ryan Tannehill, he went to Harvard or something. So
yeah, scored like a 49 in the Wonderlic.
Yeah, so I'm not going to say he's the smartest in the whole job, but I think Dak has really good common sense, really good football sense, really good football IQ. He sees the field well. He doesn't have the talent that maybe Jameis does. He doesn't maybe have the athleticism that Teddy B does. But I think he's a safe option. And when you're looking for a quarterback in free agency, you usually have all the other pieces around that are at least good enough to make you want to go after a quarterback to maybe push your team over that hump. I think Dak can do that on the right team, like you mentioned. So he is my number 1. He's only 26 or 27, one of the two.
Yeah.
And His rookie year, I fell in love with him because he was electric his rookie year. Last couple of years, not as good. This past year, though, he had a little bit of a bounce back. I just kind of want him out of a toxic situation because I feel like that's what the Cowboys are. Jerry Jones, terrible owner. Zeke Elliott, kind of a prima donna. So,
Yeah.
we'll see.
No, that is fair. I do think that he will be re-signing with the Cowboys, though. That's the reason I kind of had him a little bit lower. If I thought for sure he was in free agency, I'd be willing to put him a little higher. But just because I think he's signing the Cowboys, I don't know, I feel like I just should make it more of a talking point and talk about the other two guys. But regardless, as I mentioned, he's got talent, as you mentioned, he's got the smarts, but he still just doesn't completely throw me.
He doesn't wow you. Yeah. All right, Chase, do we want to move into the draft quarterbacks right now, or do we want to hit these four with the face-off against NFL quarterbacks?
Let's do that first.
Let's do the face-offs.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll start off with your number 4, which was Tannehill?
Yes.
All right. Would you rather have Tannehill or Mahomes?
Mahomes?
I think we have the same 4.
The same 4 quarterbacks?
We have the same 4 quarterbacks, just in different order.
Yeah, we do. So
we'll both do it at the same time. So we'll start off with Tannehill.
Okay.
Tannehill or Mahomes? You said Mahomes. I agree. Tannehill or Lamar?
Lamar.
I agree. Tannehill or Wentz?
Wentz.
I agree. Tannehill or Russ?
Russ.
I agree. Tannehill or Matt Ryan?
Oh, that one's actually a little iffy just because Matt Ryan's a little up there, but I'm still going to lean Matt Ryan.
Same. Tannehill or Stafford?
I can't go against my boy Stafford, Ryan Tannehill.
Okay, I'm going Stafford as well. Tannehill or Goff?
Ooh, that's where it starts getting tricky.
Yeah.
I'm a big Goff guy, but this year was hard to get his support. I'm still going to lean Jared Goff, though.
I think I'm going to go Tannehill.
Okay.
I'm not a Goff believer. I've been saying it for a couple years now. I'm not a big fan.
You think he's Goffle?
Yeah, I do. All right, Tannehill or Kirk Cousins?
Ew, Tannehill.
This one's kind of close for me
I don't
because
like
Kirk Cousins had a better year this past year.
He does, but I think it's an anomaly. I think he goes back down.
But he's a Michigan State Spartan, dude.
Who the hell cares?
I think I'll give it to Tannehill too. Tannehill or Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers, he has too much of a track record of success to go against him. I gotta go Aaron Rodgers.
Same. Tannehill or Derek Carr?
Ryan Tannehill.
I'm going Derek Carr on this one.
Derek Carr's time as a starting quarterback is coming to an end.
No, it's not. He's elite.
Okay, we'll see.
He had over a 70% completion percentage and over 100 QBR in this past season.
Okay, but
with a bad team,
but he can
awful weapons.
He averages 200 passing yards a game. Good for him.
Awful weapons. I know you were talking about great weapons on this past Thursday's episode. Where am I at? Tannehill or Josh Allen?
Josh Allen.
Yeah,
come on.
Obviously for you, buddy,
and for you, better be. Come on.
No, I'm going Josh Allen. I agree.
Real quick, I'm while we're talking about Josh Allen, real quick, people try to rag on him and people try to say, I'm so big on Josh Allen because I think he has just unreal physical tools and you can't knock the drastic improvement he made this year compared to last year. And to make that kind of improvement in a year is very promising for the future, especially as his offensive line gets a little better and the weapons around him get better. He had John Brown as his best receiver.
It's pretty elite.
Dude, are you kidding me?
It's pretty elite.
He'd be the 4th receiver on the Lions.
I don't know about that.
I'd put Danny Amendola above him.
I wouldn't.
Personally. That's me.
Okay. Well, hopefully we have some Lions fans listening. Let us know who you guys like better, Amendola or John Brown.
All right, continue your list.
All right, we will move now on to the number 12 quarterback again. We've got 15 that we're going through here. Tannehill or Baker Mayfield?
Ugh. Give me Baker.
Baker?
Yeah.
I'm going Tannehill.
Okay. I can go either way on that one.
Yeah. Tannehill or Drew Lock?
Yeah, Tannehill.
I'm taking Drew Lock.
Really?
I think Drew Lock's going to come out this year and be one of the shining stars.
I don't think so. I don't think he has that high of a ceiling.
Okay. We'll see what's up. And then the last two, you're probably going to go the other names I mentioned, not Tannehill, but we'll see. Tannehill or Andy Dalton?
Ryan Tannehill?
And Tannehill or Mitch Trubisky?
Oh my God, Ryan Tannehill.
Alrighty. We now move on to, let's go Dak next. My number 1, your number 3. Dak or Mahomes?
Mahomes.
Dak or Lamar?
Lamar.
Dak or Wentz?
Wentz.
Dak or Russ?
Russ.
Now, these first bit are easy for free agency. I think it may be a little different when it comes to the draft.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I agree.
So, just hang in there with us while we rattle these off quickly, and then once we get to the draft, you'll see it's a little bit more competitive there. So, Dak or Matt Ryan?
Dak.
I'm going to agree with you. I go Dak there as well. Dak or Stafford?
Give me Staff.
I agree. I'll go Stafford as well. Dak or Jared Goff?
Dak.
I agree. Dak or Cousins?
Dak.
Agree. Dak or Rodgers?
Ooh. That one's a little more iffy. It's just because Rodgers has been slipping so much. I know he has a track record, and comparing him to Tannehill, I go Rodgers. I honestly think I might go Dak on this one.
Okay. I'm going Rodgers over Dak. Dak or Derek Carr?
Dak.
You're not a big Derek Carr fan, are you?
I used to be.
I'm going Dak as well, but this is just age-wise. I think they're very similar quarterbacks.
Yeah, but the age thing is what.
Yeah. Dak or Josh Allen?
Josh Allen.
Dak or Baker?
Dak.
I agree. And then Dak or Drew Lock?
Dak.
I agree. Dak or Trubisky / Dalton?
Dak. Big time.
Yeah. All right, let's now go Teddy Bridgewater. Do we just want to skip the top four? Top four is Mahomes, Lamar, Wentz, Russ.
Like, none of my four free agent quarterbacks are going to be that.
I agree. So we'll start off with 5. Teddy Bridgewater and Matt Ryan.
Give me Teddy Bridgewater. Give me the chance on Teddy Bridgewater.
Okay. I'm going to go Matt Ryan on that one. Stafford or Teddy Bridgewater?
Stafford.
I agree. Teddy Bridgewater or Goff?
Bridgewater.
I go Goff.
I'll take the chance of Bridgewater.
Yep. I'm not a Goff fan, but Teddy scares me a little bit. He's a wild card. He definitely is a wild card.
But I'd rather take the chance on him.
Yeah. Teddy Bridgewater or Kirk Cousins?
Teddy Bridgewater.
I'm going Cousins. Teddy Bridgewater or Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers, probably.
I go Rodgers as well. Teddy Bridgewater or Derek Carr?
Teddy Bridgewater.
I go Derek Carr. Teddy Bridgewater or Josh Allen?
Josh Allen. Get out of here.
I agree. Teddy B or Baker? Baker's kind of a tough one.
He is, because he had such a great year and such a horrible second season.
And he's still so young.
Yeah. But you know what? Let's have some fun and go Teddy.
I'm going Teddy as well. Hey, Teddy, won't you come to my birthday?
True.
Teddy or Drew Lock?
Teddy.
I'm going Drew Lock on that. All right, next, Teddy Bridgewater or Trubisky / Dalton?
Teddy Bridgewater. God,
dude, Trubisky's elite, though.
So bad.
All right, finally, we talk about famous Jameis. We'll skip the top 4 again. I think it's unanimous there. Jameis or Matt Ryan?
Give me Jameis.
I agree. Jameis or Stafford?
Give me Matt Stafford still.
I'm going Jameis. Now, I know, especially one redhead is going to freak out about that.
Yeah,
but,
he's lose his frickin' mind.
Jameis is 6 years younger. He's 26. Stafford's 32, right?
Yeah, I'll be 32 season start.
Yeah, and I think Jameis is similar when it comes to yards and touchdowns versus Stafford. The only thing is turnovers. I'm hoping the LASIK helps it. We'll see.
Yeah.
Jameis or Goff?
Jameis.
I agree. Jameis or Cousins?
Jameis.
Yep. Jameis or Rodgers?
Jameis.
I go Rodgers there. Jameis or Carr?
Jameis.
Jameis or Allen?
Do you take Jameis also there when you did
Yeah,
the answer?
yeah, okay. I'll take Jameis over Carr.
Just making sure. That's finally someone you took over Carr. That's
really?
Yeah, I think you took Carr over the other 3.
No, I took Dak over Carr just because of age.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's right.
But yeah,
right.
I took Carr over Teddy and Tannehill.
Yeah.
But Jameis or Josh Allen?
Josh Allen's elite, and I'm still riding with my boy.
This one's close for me.
I get it, but I'm still riding with my boy.
I'll go Josh Allen just because of his running.
Good for you, man. Because I'm proud of you.
They're both turnover heavy.
Yeah, but Josh Allen's not as turnover heavy as.
But Jameis has the better arm thus far in the NFL.
Yeah, accuracy wise, power wise, Josh Allen's got the freaking strongest arm in the NFL.
Well, yeah, but when we're looking at yards and touchdowns, Jameis has been by far better than.
Yeah, I know, but the improvements that Josh Allen made over his rookie season, sophomore season is what is keeping me going.
Yeah, it was close for me. All right, Jameis or Baker? Jameis or Locke?
Jameis.
That's close for me too, but I'll go Jameis.
You're a big Drew Lock guy.
I think he's gonna break out. I really do.
I don't think his ceiling's that high. I think he's at best mid-level NFL quarterback.
Okay, and then Jameis or Trubes/Dalton?
Jameis.
Yeah. All right, Chase, let's now move on to the draftable quarterbacks. And we're going to go top 4 again. We'll go 4 through 1. And this is, again, if you were a GM, who would you take? Not who we think is going to have the best career, not who we think is most NFL ready, but if you personally were a GM, who are you taking? Who is your favorite package altogether? So we'll start off with your number 4. Who you got?
My number 4 is Anthony Gordon of Washington State.
Anthony Gordon.
Yeah, so Anthony Gordon, we talked about him before, the nation's passing yard leader, had that ridiculous 9-touchdown game earlier in the year against, that was UCLA. Yeah, so against UCLA. So he's a guy who has an ultra-talented arm. We talked about how he's a one-year starter and how it said it was an issue that he didn't start at Washington State. I mentioned that in the last episode, but I completely forgot to mention that, you know who the starter at Washington State was for 2 years before that?
Gardner Minshew.
Yeah. So Gardner Minshew was an NFL draft pick. It's hard to win the starting job over an NFL draft pick. So since he got the starting job and he put up ridiculous numbers, 16 picks, which sounds like a kind of a lot for college. If you can keep those in the single digits, that's kind of ideal for translating. But you got to remember, the least amount of passes he threw in a game was 35, and he's routinely in the 50s and 60s. So you're bound to get interceptions at that point. He's not going to throw that much in the NFL. The numbers will be down. I think if he goes somewhere where he can have time to develop, be behind, with a quarterback that just, can kind of show him how to be a pro, show him the ropes, just let him kind of get his game calmed down a little and be underneath a, good offensive line, I think he could genuinely have success in the NFL.
Yeah, it's possible, and he also had over 50 touchdowns, so
yeah. When
you have over 50 touchdowns, 16 picks doesn't seem all that big.
Yeah.
It's possible. I'm just not a big fan of, first, his escapability, his mobility, stuff like that. And then also his decision-making, I'm unsure of. I still got to watch more tape on him, obviously. But I think there's a reason that people are looking at him in the 5th, 6th round.
No, there is very much. That's why I say if you just let him do his thing, you don't rush him. You set him somewhere where he can learn under a good coach, learn under a good quarterback, and have a good supporting cast and good offensive line. He could eventually have success, but you can't rush him.
Yeah, I think you need to put him in a situation like Garoppolo had, where Garoppolo was sitting 3-4 years before he got traded and finally got the starting opportunity. So,
yep.
My number 4 is Jacob Eason, and he doesn't have very much mobility, like I just talked about, concern for Gordon. But I think he could possibly have the biggest arm in the draft. It's between him and Herbert. Eason reminds me so much of Stafford for some reason, and maybe it was because they both were at Georgia for a bit. Eason obviously went over to Washington, finished his career there. I think he should have stayed another year in college. I don't think it was as pivotal for him to stay as Jake Fromm. I think Jake Fromm needed to stay. Versus, I think Eason should have stayed. Difference there.
Big time.
I think Eason still needs to sit for a good year or two before he can really start slinging the ball on the NFL level. I think he could have success, though, just because of his big arm. I think he could be on a similar level like a Jameis. So, that's my number 4.
No, I agree. I like Eason. I think he's got potential. He's not a guy I love. And I picked 3 quarterbacks I love. And then a guy I just can't put out of the top 4.
Yeah. So we now go into our top 3. I feel like we should have the same top 3.
We definitely don't have the same top 3. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Okay.
Like the people, not the order.
Yeah, no, we're not gonna have the same order, but we're gonna have the same people.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's what I was talking about. So we should have the same people, not order. All right, Chase. Who is your number 3, or is it something else? So me, I don't have them listed as 3. I have them listed as 3.
I have them as 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay. Who's your number 3?
My number 3 is Tua Tagovailoa.
Okay.
Because he's just not a guy that thrills me. I don't think he's got enough high end talent. He might think the game well, sure. But Alabama quarterbacks, I know we talked about this before, they struggle in the NFL. There's a good system there, but at the same time, he's also definitely the most talented Alabama quarterback we've seen, and who knows even how long.
Yeah.
So there's no denying that he's got the talent, but it's lefties struggle in the NFL unless you're a generational talent. I don't think he's a generational talent. If you look at his game against LSU, for example, this year before he got hurt, he went 21 for 40. That's 52.5 completion percentage. When people talk about, oh, he had such a high completion percentage this year and everything, yeah, sure, but he's getting them. He still went 67% against New Mexico State. He had 83.9% against Duke. Against I don't even know who USM is, to be honest with you. But so in USM, he had an 81%. So he's playing a lot of easier teams in the first half of the season this year, which is why that percentage was so inflated. If he plays the full season, that percentage is down because that's when the schedule starts getting tougher because you start playing your conference opponents more. So I think Tua is still someone who could have success in the NFL. He just hasn't fully sold himself to me.
Yeah, I can see your point there, and I mean lefties are just kind of gross. Shout out to our buddy Johnny. He's yikes.
Honestly, it makes me really mad that Tua's dad made him be a lefty because if you're that talented as a lefty and it's not natural, he's naturally right-handed, so he's not naturally talented to throw left-handed. He probably, if he grew up throwing right-handed, could be one of the best quarterbacks we've ever seen because he gets to just have a ridiculous arm if his left hand is that good already. Honestly, do you agree?
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see, in an alternate universe, to see him righty. But I feel like once you make your kid lefty, I feel like after, a couple months, really, you should have it kind of down pat and be able to develop as...
You would think so, but, you're... when you're naturally, one way, it's because, your brain just... your brain's always, wired as your dominant side, and sure, you might stop using it, so it might get weaker, but, your full potential will never be reached with your left hand as your right hand if you're trying to force yourself to do it the other way.
It'd be interesting, and I think Tua's younger brother Talia plays righty, and I think he's naturally a righty, but Talia nowhere near the talent as Tua.
Yeah.
So I have the top three, and everyone knows the top three. You'll have the same top three. I have them listed as 1A, 1B, 1C.
Oh,
because I honestly do not think that one is way above the other.
Okay, so do you want me to just go through my 2 and 1, and then you just talk about them with me that way?
Sure. Yeah, we can do that. So, who's your number 2?
So, my number 2, I went with Justin Herbert. So, Justin Herbert is my actual favorite quarterback in the draft. The only reason I have him 2 behind, obviously, we all know who number 1 is because just availability and possibility to start right away. Justin Herbert, I say you can't rush him in. I don't think he's going to be a day one starter. I think maybe halfway through the season, once he fully learns his team offense, once he gets the trust of all of his teammates and coaches, and is a little more comfortable reading NFL defenses, and maybe has a little bit of a calmness into his game, maybe you start him halfway through the year, maybe wait a full year, maybe even wait 2 years. I think just give the kid some time. Don't throw him in a bad situation. He's, in my opinion, best arm in the draft. He can get around. He has, he has some decision making, some accuracy issues, but I think those can be rounded out in the NFL behind a good coach.
Yeah, for sure. And your number 1 is obviously
Joe Burrow. Regardless what you think about Joe Burrow, you can't deny the season that he had. It was just stupid. That season, it might be a fluke performing at that high of a level, but it's not a fluke denying that he's a talent. You can't fluke your way to 60 touchdowns and 5,000 passing yards and winning the Heisman and national championship. You can't fluke your way to that. He's going to go into the NFL. He's probably going to the Bengals. Hopefully the Bengals can sign some offensive line help, draft some offensive line help, because when it comes to running back and receivers, they've got all the help in the world there. Tight end, they could use a little help too, but I think that should be the last thing they worry about in their offense. I think they need to just, you know what? Just take Burrow first overall. Just take offensive lineman every other pick in the draft, honestly, because that's just pretty much what the Bengals need. Obviously, they need linebacking help too. But
yeah,
you got to get as much support as you can for Joe Burrow, because if you can put him in a good enough situation to succeed with the talent that is on the Bengals already at the receiver and running back group, I think he can genuinely have first year great success.
Yeah. Okay. So my 1C is Herbert. I love Herbert. He's my favorite quarterback as well. He's just got such a high ceiling, and I think him and Tua are going to be either Drew Lock or Carson Palmer type situations. Carson Palmer sat out his whole first year, even though he's a first overall pick, and then Drew Lock, he sat out 9 games, I think.
I think maybe more than that, honestly.
Yeah, so I think Herbert and Tua would succeed best in a situation like that. I don't think they should be thrown to the wolves immediately in week 1. Herbert, I think, is the highest ceiling. He's got athleticism. He's got a huge arm. He's 6'6", with the great athleticism as well. I absolutely love Herbert, and I think if he can reach his ceiling, he will be a top 5 quarterback in the whole league. But that's an if.
Yeah, I agree. Cause he has, he's the most gifted quarterback in this draft, and I don't think it's even close personally. So the thing with gifted quarterbacks is like someone like Michael Vick, he was able to turn his gifts into tremendous talent at a young age. Some gifted quarterbacks can't translate that talent as young. Sometimes they can never translate it. So that's what makes these just truly physically gifted guys have such high ceilings and such low floors. He has the biggest bust potential of any player in this draft, if you ask me, of any single player, any position. But at the same time, I also think he has significantly the highest ceiling, as you said. So
yeah, and one name we didn't bring up in this top 4 is Jordan Love. And recently, over the combine, Jordan Love's name has skyrocketed up mock drafts, and people are even saying he's the 3rd best quarterback now above Herbert. No, I completely disagree.
Joke.
Yeah, he's not as talented arm-wise. He's not as he doesn't have the numbers that Herbert had in his college career. I think Jordan Love had less than 20 touchdowns over this past season and 12 interceptions or something, while Herbert had a great season in college football. I don't really understand all the hype for Love after a combine in which Herbert performed better. Herbert was faster. Herbert looked better in the passing game.
Yeah, if Jordan Love had, he's a Lamar style quarterback who doesn't have talent anywhere near Lamar in any aspect of the game. So if he could run the ball like Lamar, then sure. Great, but he's not a first round quarterback, and he's probably going to go in the first round because that's the way quarterbacks work. But if he goes in the first round, that's a joke. I don't even think he's a round 2 quarterback personally.
And a lot of people, I think the reason everyone blew up and were like, "Oh my gosh, Jordan Love is amazing," is because someone out there said this guy could be like Mahomes because of his arm angles. But that doesn't mean he's going to be anywhere close to the level as Patrick Mahomes.
No.
That just means he's got similar arm angles. He can throw the ball, vertically or horizontally with his arm. That doesn't mean he's Patrick Mahomes. So I don't really get the love there. I'm going to move on to my 1B. My 1B is Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow is the best quarterback when it comes to starting right away. I think he's the most NFL ready. The one thing I think all people have to worry about is, can he do it outside of the Joe Brady system? I think whoever is going after Joe Burrow should have also went after Joe Brady. That didn't happen with the Bengals. I think the Panthers should do everything to try to go get Joe Burrow. But
I agree. Real quick, I do want to mention, if you're the Bengals, when you're coming off of the season you just had, why not? You want Burrow number 1 overall. You want a new quarterback, and Joe Burrow did everything to earn the number 1 pick. So maybe they didn't know for sure they want Joe Burrow number 1 overall, but now they do, and there's no denying that. So why wouldn't you go get the guy who he had so much success with? Your team was so bad as it was. What do you think? There's we had some success last year. You had no success. There's no success in any aspect of the field. It's not going to kill you to bring this guy in. So the Panthers, they got a great offensive mind, and maybe he can work his magic with another quarterback there, whoever they decide to go with at the quarterback position. But it blows my mind that I don't know if the Bengals even tried to go after him or not. I haven't seen anything about that.
Yeah.
If they did and they just failed, then so be it. But if they didn't even try, come on, that's just same old Bengals.
Yeah, and I think even if they did try, they weren't offering him nearly enough money.
Probably not.
Because Mike
nickels.
Brown is the cheapest owner in the NFL.
Yeah, they offered him nickels while the Panthers offered him dollars.
Exactly. So Joe Burrow going to be a day 1 starter in the NFL and the first quarterback out of this draft to start a game, at least in my opinion. And we'll see how he does. I'm worried about the ceiling. He's 23 years old, and usually quarterbacks have that big jump at 23 years old. So if he took that big jump in the college game and doesn't hit another big jump in the NFL game, that worries me a little bit. Like we saw with Lamar this past season, he hit that big jump. We saw with Mahomes his first season, he hit that big jump.
Yeah.
The top quarterbacks are getting their big jumps in the NFL. I'm really hoping Burrow has 2 of them. and he doesn't just have the big jump in college. So.
Yeah, like I agree. I hope so also. But if he can make an immediate impact, like you don't have a jump as a rookie. Like your rookie just shows the kind of immediate impact you can make. So if he has a good immediate impact, I don't necessarily think he'll need a big jump because if his rookie impact is based off his college production, you can count him in for 3,500 yards and 20 plus touchdowns as a rookie. As a rookie on a bad team that's picked first overall, like those are great numbers. So if he has that type of thing, I don't think you need to expect a big jump. I think you can just be happy with gradual increase as the team gets a little better, and then he can easily be a 4,000 yard every year quarterback.
Well, shouldn't you be a fan of Dak then?
No, why would I be a fan of Dak? Gross.
Because Dak, he doesn't have that big jump, but he
just
decent little increases.
Because I just Dak doesn't just thrill me enough. Because I just his running his running solid doesn't thrill me enough. His throwing doesn't thrill me enough. He's got just great weapons. I know Joe Burrow had great weapons too. I just think Joe Burrow has a little more true ability and it seems a little smarter to me.
Yeah, all right. My 1A is Tua. I just got an update with Tua too. He just cleared his 4-month medical on his hip.
That's good.
So he's looking good there, looking healthy when it comes to his progression in the hip injury. Tua's my 1A just because I think he has a higher ceiling than Burrow. I think they're very similar quarterbacks. I think Burrow starts right away. I think Tua has the higher ceiling. So
that's fair.
It really is apples to oranges with Tua and Burrow in my opinion. I think both are similar playing style. They both have a similar play style. I think both are going to be similar if they both reach their ceilings. The only scare for Tua is obviously injuries. The scare with Burrow for me is the age and the fact that he has only done it in one. So I said this, I think in the last episode or maybe something else. Tua, yes, has only had success in one system, Alabama's. Burrow has only had success in one system, LSU's and Joe Brady's. But Burrow didn't have success in Urban Meyer and Ohio State's system. So that's the one reason I bring up I'm worried that he only had success in the LSU system. Not because other quarterbacks didn't do something similar where they only had success in one system, but because Burrow didn't find success in another system. And yes, he was playing against Dwayne Haskins, Cardell Jones, JT Barrett, some good quarterbacks. It was
the most stacked quarterback room in the country. I mean,
they were NFL draft picks, but I don't know. We'll see what happens there. So that's how I ranked them. I ranked 1A, 1B, 1C, just because I think they are all similar, and I think they could all go number one. I think you could switch them around.
I get you there, and I could see it. I just think Joe Burrow's kind of locked at this point, just being from Ohio and having the great season. Heisman, you can't really pass on a Heisman winner who had the season he did. So I can see that. I know you don't like talking about this, you don't necessarily agree with this point, but when you're bringing up concerns with Tua, the lefty quarterback thing is more of a concern than you think it is. I know we had a big talk about this, and you're saying, oh, it's a joke, but there's a reason that there's 0 lefty quarterbacks rostered right now. There's the percentages, there's lefty quarterbacks out there, and they just have proven that it's the adjustment level isn't very easy. You have to be ultra talented like Michael Vick in order to have the success. Here's what I'll do. For a future episode, I'll get numbers, I'll get deeper statistics, I'll bring them up for everybody, and I can show you exactly the kind of impact a lefty quarterback has versus a righty quarterback. How's that sound?
Sure.
All right. It'll be later on when I have more time, so it might be a couple weeks.
But here's the thing. One of the best lefty quarterbacks in history is Dan Marino, who was a smaller guy, like Tua, who was mobile, like Tua, who had a solid arm for his size, like Tua.
Who played in a different era.
Who knows? Maybe with better corners. I think corners nowadays are so much worse than corners, years ago. Because when was the last time we had a true lockdown corner?
Well, that's not the way games played anymore.
Exactly. I mean, we see so much air raid now. Look at Patrick Mahomes. He's destroying every team. Look at Lamar Jackson, who everyone thought was going to turn into a running back because he didn't have a good arm. He lit up defenses.
Well, because people underestimate his arm. He has a powerful arm. He just didn't have an accurate arm.
Yeah.
Once he learned the accuracy, it was fine.
But I think you look at all quarterbacks across the board, everyone is starting to light it up more in the passing game.
I think
maybe it's a transition more towards the passing game.
Yeah, it 100% is. But I don't I'm not saying Tua has a weak arm, but he doesn't have like a powerful arm. So you got to have a powerful arm in today's NFL. You don't like have to have a powerful arm in today's NFL, but if you don't have a powerful arm, you have to have an ultra accurate arm. And I think he has very good accuracy, not like ultra accuracy.
So that's what separates him and Burrow, because Burrow doesn't have a powerful arm.
Yeah, but I think Burrow has ultra accuracy.
Okay. So, but you and I both agree Herbert's our favorite.
No, yes, I agree. I agree 100%. Herbert is the guy I'm pulling for the hardest. I'm a big Joe Burrow fan, and I hope he has a ton of success. I hope Tua has a ton of success. I'm not saying I hate Tua and I hope he just dies. I hope he has...
That's kind of what it sounds like.
No, I hope he does well. I want to be proven wrong because I want as many good quarterbacks in the league as possible because I hate how there's like 10 to 12 teams every year where their starting quarterback is just not good enough. It's amazing how little people there are in the world that are good enough to be starting NFL quarterbacks. So I want as much talent as possible. But Herbert is the guy that I'm pulling for. He's the guy I want in our Dynasty rookie draft this year very badly. So, go Herbert.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. And if you guys know about the talk of Tua possibly going to the Redskins number 2, there's a lot of rumors about that. We talked about that in our last episode. You can go see what we said about that situation. But Chase, let's now move on to our QB face-off, and we will pit the top 4 draft-eligible quarterbacks against quarterbacks that are currently NFL starters. All right, first up, Mahomes or Aaron Gordon?
Anthony Gordon.
Anthony Gordon.
You ass.
Sorry, he's just so bad. Oh, you're taking Anthony Gordon over Mahomes, is that what you said?
No. Patrick Mahomes.
Okay. Anthony Gordon or Lamar?
Lamar.
Anthony Gordon or Wentz?
Wentz.
Russ or Gordon?
Russ.
Ryan. Matt Ryan.
I'd be willing to take a chance on Anthony Gordon.
No way.
Like
Matt Ryan.
No, just like not like draft him and start him right away, but like draft Anthony Gordon and get him prepared to take the starting job.
No, you don't. That's not how this works.
Oh, so we're taking who would we rather for next season?
No, it's for the next 10 years.
For the next 10 years. So
yeah. But you don't get to have Matt Ryan for 5 and then Anthony Gordon for the next 5.
I can't have Matt Ryan for 3 and Anthony Gordon for 7.
No.
So it's just literally just the next 10 years. And I'm not putting Anthony Gordon above anybody because he's not ready to start next year.
Yeah, but maybe his last 7 years are just miraculous. That's why I have Aaron Rodgers in here. You think he's going to be going for the next 10?
Yeah.
I don't.
All right, keep going.
So you're still taking Gordon or Matt Ryan?
No, if you want to be like that, then Matt Ryan.
That's how it's always been.
Okay, just keep
going.
Guy.
Stafford. Goff. Cousins.
Anthony Gordon.
Rodgers.
Anthony Gordon.
Wow.
Because Rodgers is going to play another 2 more years and retire.
He's going to play 4.
I think he's got 2 more years on him.
Derek Carr.
Anthony Gordon.
Jeez, that's gross.
Not sold on Derek Carr has, like, he's left the port of my fan base.
You know what? I am so excited to see your top 4 draft-eligible quarterbacks versus this guy, Josh Allen.
Oh, Josh Allen.
All right, Baker. Drew Lock.
Anthony Gordon.
Wow. Mitch Trubisky.
Anthony Gordon.
Andy Dalton.
Anthony Gordon.
All right, and then I'll go Eason real quick. Mahomes over Eason, Lamar, Wentz, Russ over Eason, Ryan over Eason, Stafford over Eason. I'll take Eason over Goff, Eason over Cousins. I go Rodgers over Eason, Eason over Carr, Josh Allen over Eason.
Good boy.
Baker over Eason, Drew Lock.
Come on.
Drew Lock over Eason.
Come on.
And then Eason over Troops and Dalton.
I didn't know you were such a big Drew Lock guy.
Dude, I think he's going to blow it up this year.
I really
not blow it up. Not blow it up.
He doesn't have an amazing attribute.
He's got a solid arm.
He's got a solid arm.
And he's got solid mobility for a bigger guy.
Mobility. But solid isn't attribute to big jump on a team where they've got okay offensive weapons. I don't love their offensive weapons.
He was the second best rookie quarterback this year. Over Daniel Jones, over Dwayne Haskins.
Rookie quarterbacks, I'd say, were underwhelming this year, personally.
Yeah, Kyler was kind of trash. He wasn't trash, but...
Kyler had a year you can be happy with for a rookie quarterback. For a first overall pick, you might want a little more. But, a year you can be happy for a rookie quarterback. But I think every other rookie quarterback is pretty much underwhelming, if Gardner Minshew can be considered one of the top ones.
I think we need to get the people's opinion on Drew Lock. So let us know what you guys think. Are you guys Drew Lock fans, yes or no? We can also talk to the boys in the group chat after this and see what they think.
Yeah.
All right, let's now move on to Justin Herbert. He's your number 3. He's my 1C.
He's my number 2.
Oh, he's your number. That's right. You had Tua number 3.
Yeah.
Mahomes or Herbert?
Mahomes.
I agree. Lamar or Herbert?
Lamar. You're gonna go Herbert?
I don't know. That's kind of tough.
I can't. I can't.
I know Lamar's the MVP, and he had a really good season. But for some reason, I feel like it's going to be a one-off.
I don't think it is. Lamar is a guy who I didn't like coming out of college. I thought he was going to struggle because his accuracy was so bad in college. But he learned how to be an accurate quarterback, and the system that's built around him is just too fantastic that I think he's just going to have too much success. I think he's too hard to stop.
But here's the thing. It's my system because I'm a GM.
Oh, so we're just saying so the offense that we would want to run is what you're saying.
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he won't be on the Ravens. He'd be on my team.
Okay, I thought we were doing this as if they're taking the guy's spot on the team. That's all I was thinking of this the whole time.
You're so confused.
Maybe explain things a little better.
I can explain it perfectly.
You did. You
said QBs to face off against.
Yeah, sick. Thanks.
So easy. I will give it to Lamar just because Herbert is so boom or bust. You never know. Herbert or Wentz?
You know what? Give me Herbert.
Okay, I'm going Carson Wentz there.
Just because Wentz just so cripple prone. Cripples mean so injury prone. Just don't be a hospital for a weekend, please.
I agree. When he does play, he's good though. It's like an Andrew Luck situation.
Yeah.
Herbert or Russell Wilson?
Give me Russ.
I'm going Russ as well. Herbert or Matt Ryan?
Herbert.
I agree. Herbert or Stafford?
If I could get Justin Herbert right now over Matt Stafford, I would.
I would too. Herbert or Goff?
Herbert.
I agree. Herbert or Cousins?
Herbert.
Rodgers?
Herbert.
Carr?
Herbert.
Allen?
This is where it gets fun, and I'm still saying going Josh Allen on this one.
What?
I am.
Jeez. No, I'm going to Herbert there as well.
That's
and the ones that I just rattled off, I agree with Chase for, Goff, Cousins, all
I figured
those.
you would.
I go Herbert over Allen, though. Herbert or Baker?
Herbert.
I agree. Herbert or Locke?
Herbert.
I agree. And then Trubisky and Dalton.
Trubisky and Dalton.
Yeah, I agree. All right, next up, we will go Tua. Tua or Mahomes?
Mahomes.
I agree. Tua or Lamar?
Lamar.
Wentz?
Wentz. Probably, just especially Tua. Just it's such a big injury, especially since it's he's not. This isn't a sports injury. This is like a trauma injury, which makes it even more concerning. The trauma injuries are a lot harder to come back from and maintain health from. So if I'm gonna go with 2 injury quarterbacks, I'd better go with Carson Wentz.
I agree with you. Russ. I agree. Matt Ryan.
Tua.
I agree. Stafford. I agree.
Good boy, Mike.
Goff.
Ugh. Goff.
I'm going Tua. Cousins.
Tua.
Yep. Rodgers.
Tua.
I'm going Rodgers. Carr.
Tua. Don't pick Derek Carr.
No, I agree.
I was going to kick you in the face.
I'm taking Tua over Carr. Tua or Allen.
Josh Allen.
I'm going Tua. Heck no. Come on. You're too big of a Josh Allen fanboy.
I am.
All right. Tua or Baker.
Tua.
I agree. And then Locke, Trubes, and Dalton. I assume you go Tua.
Yeah.
I agree. And then finally, Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow versus Mahomes. Lamar. Wentz. Russ. Ryan.
Burrow.
That one's kind of tough for me, but I would go Burrow. Stafford or Burrow?
Stafford.
I would go Stafford as well. Burrow or Goff?
Burrow.
I agree. Burrow or Cousins?
Burrow.
Burrow or Rodgers?
Burrow.
Just because I think Rodgers only has 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, I don't think he has that long. I think he has 2-3 years. So
I think if I could guarantee Rodgers is there for at least 8 years, maybe even at least 7.
He's not playing as long as he already played.
I would take Rodgers over Burrow, but I don't think he's got that long.
No.
Burrow or Carr?
Burrow.
Burrow or Allen?
Josh Allen.
This is the only one I will agree with you with on Josh Allen.
I have Josh Allen over every single quarterback that I wrote down today because I think he has the ability to be that good. I'm still a fan of his ceiling, and I think he's young enough to easily reach that ceiling and perform at a high level as an unreal dual threat quarterback in the league. Just like not Lamar level, but like the type of quarterback that Lamar is, where you have to prepare for him to be able to do everything on the field.
Burrow or Baker?
Burrow
or Locke, Trubes, Dalton?
Burrow.
I agree. All right, and then Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes?
Patrick Mahomes, come on.
Josh Allen or Lamar?
Lamar.
Josh Allen or Wentz?
Wentz.
Josh Allen or Russell Wilson?
Russell Wilson.
Okay, Josh Allen or Stafford?
If I could trade like Matt Stafford for Josh Allen straight up, I would take Josh Allen.
Okay. I just wanted to see what we could get. I didn't know if you were going to go Josh Allen over Mahomes.
No, I don't think Josh Allen is the top half of the league quarterback right now. I think Josh Allen has the potential to be a top 5 quarterback in the league because of his dual threat ability. Because it's not the level of Lamar. He's not as fast as Lamar. He doesn't have as accurate as an arm as Lamar, but he has a stronger arm, and he is like equally as agile. Personally, if you ask me, but he's just not as fast, not as much of a burner. So I think that unpredictability is so much of an asset in the NFL. Like, you've seen the guys that are truly talented, like throwing the ball and can run the ball so well, like go on to have great NFL careers. And I think Josh Allen can do that if he's like I love Devin Singletary, so I think they're going to be fine at the running back position if they can bring in another guy just to kind of balance the load of Singletary, so he's not doing everything, and if they can bring in at least one really good receiver and another good complementary receiver.
Okay. Cool. Well, that'll conclude our quarterback talk. Takeaways. Chase hates Tua. We both love Herbert. Chase would rather have Trubisky over Tua. But yeah, we've talked about over 20 quarterbacks in this episode, so you guys can see our opinions on those quarterbacks and, really figure out where we stand when it comes to draft eligible quarterbacks and free agent eligible quarterbacks. So that's it for the episode, guys.
I do have one point. Okay. I know this is kind of just talking about quarterbacks. If any of you listening are doing a dynasty startup draft and you want a good value quarterback and you want someone who's going to put up a lot of points, you're getting Josh Allen late in that startup draft. He's going to go later than he should. He's, if you could, last year could have taken like Lamar in your 12th round of your startup draft, that would be a possibility, and that would have been the best thing you've ever done in your life. But you can get Josh Allen in probably the 14-15 range in your dynasty startup draft, and you want a quarterback that can run. The best quarterbacks in fantasy are the runners, so don't spend a third-round pick on Lamar Jackson. Spend a third-round pick on a running back or a receiver.
Okay, there you go. You get the advice from the guy who hasn't won a championship in our fantasy leagues yet.
Buddy, I've been to 3 championships, and then
How many have you won?
I literally win almost every other league I don't do with you guys. Like, no joke.
Exactly, because we're so good.
Shut the front door.
All right, so there you go. Chase loves Allen more than anyone in the world.
Yep.
I kind of wish Alec was here because remember what he said to you about Burrow in the last episode. He said, stop, Burrow. We had to take that out because Alec is very vulgar.
Yes.
Just a bad person.
He just gets big upset very easily about any opinion that I have. I think he's secretly in love with me, but who knows?
Could be possible. So yeah, Allen over Burrow for Chase. That's a little crazy. But yeah, we talked about over 20 quarterbacks. You know where we stand now. Want to thank you guys for coming out and listening. If you guys didn't hear our episode last week, we talked about quarterback free agency and also talked about what the top 3 teams in the draft, the Bengals, Redskins, and Lions, what they should do with their draft capital and in free agency. So make sure you guys go check that out. Thanks so much for listening, guys. If you could, give us a follow at WNP Sports Pod on Twitter. That's again at WNP Sports Pod on Twitter. You can tweet at us, answer those questions I asked earlier on in the episode, such as who's your top quarterback and others. Thanks so much for listening, guys. And as always, we're not professionals.